complex in KSP. I'll switch this to Kerbal 1. We'll fix the stuff. Heart version drift attack for Assetto. Who said sit down? You've 2.8 thousand hours on Stationeers. Oh my goodness. Doing some Wings Wednesday builds and the like would be fun, but not a proper program. I don't want to commit to any programs, Tessa. Like, I actually kind of been having the hankering to go play Mission Mode 2 rules again. I don't know why. I'm wanting to do that again. I want to get into a good project, but I really, really can't devote the mental bandwidth that requires managing the entire space program with the wedding coming up and stuff. We'll probably start a new, either start a new or keep going with the space program. I don't know. We could do Mission Mode 3 with the space station and the robotic arms and stuff. Or I could kind of start up a new Mission Mode 2. We could do that. You did promise us Adventure Star. Yeah, I know. Hey, AP, what's going on? AP, check it out, dude. I got the seat back in. I don't know if you could see it. Dude, I took this thing for a test drive around the block late last night. Now, don't get me wrong. I live on back roads, so don't do this, because this truck isn't registered yet. I still have to go do that. I did take it kind of around the block, which is very, very short. It's not very far. We need to replace the diff is low on fluid. I know, because when I went around the corner it went ee! I'm like, oh, okay. Everything else though is good. It runs pretty damn well, actually. I'm actually pretty. Did you do a skid? The diff makes squeaky noises when one wheel is spinning really, really fast and the other one is not spinning at all because it's not limited slip. But don't you have drive there while it's unregistered to register it? No, Creeper. No. You didn't top it off after replacing the U-joint? No, that whole getting hit in the face really kind of put a damper on those plans. Nice, Nova, that's cool. Picking up what you're putting down. Yeah. Just weld the diff. That will stop it. You know what? I don't think I'm ever going to weld the diff on anything. I had a bad experience once. Yeah, I had a bad experience. All right. Okay. You had an anomaly. Man, I'm dev. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. Yeah, I did take it for a little bit of a shakedown. There's still a lot of things that we have to do, a lot of small things. The seat was being held in with bolts that were, the seat bracket is like right here. So the seat could go up and down. That's, like I said, don't do that. Don't do that. Like, I live on a back road. No one comes down it. So, yeah. Yeah, you're not too broad height. No. Perfect. So, yeah. I did take it for a spin. And yesterday while Brimo and I were sorting things out, I did clean up the shop there. I did clean out the shop. Everything is clean. All the tools are back where they belong. There's no crap all over the floor. So, that's good. We're almost done, dude. We're in the home stretch. Oh, the Coronet runs, by the way. Yeah. Holy boxes. Added suspension. I see no problem here. Yeah. Actually, runs or just starts. We're going to need to bring it into the shop and check the brakes. I need to once over the entire brakes on the thing, Tessa. Something is a little bit weird with the brakes. The pedal goes all the way to the floor, and then you have to press on it a little bit, and that's the only way to get it to stop. So there's a lot of air in the lines. We got to figure out where that's happening. When do you think grid fins will arrive in KSP2? I don't know. sometime next month. I don't think I've seen the Coronet. Fully keen to see it. It looks like here. Actually, not a wagon. I have a sedan. I want a wagon. So it looks like that, only way crappier. Yeah, mine looks pretty much like that. It's just, yeah, a lot poopier. It's in a lot worse condition than this, at least on the outside. It's a cool car, man. Actually, that's kind of what mine looks like. Here, we'll go into image, see if I can find a picture of a ratty one. It's got patina. Yeah, it kind of looks like that, only blue. It's almost a Bluesmobile. Yep. We just need to make sure it has a 440 cubic inch plant with cop tires, cop suspension, cop shocks. They're big. I mean, the Coronet is longer than the Coronet is as long as my long bed pickup truck, dude. My long bed has a 2.5 meter bed, 2.5 meter length bed AP. It's big. Yeah, you could put full sheets of drywall in there. Yeah, and the Coronet is just as long as it, dude. It's a model made before catalytic converter, so it'll run good on regular gas. Yeah, dude, that's that's pretty much what it looks like right there. Only mine's blue. Mine's that color, or at least it was that color at one point in its life. Yeah. Fix a cigarette lighter. Hey, Antares, what's going on? Yeah, that kind of looks more along the lines of what I have. But, dude, you know what? I don't care. So, AP, the thing about that is, like, okay, so you remember Benny's Stagia build, where the Stagia is basically a Skyline, and you could just bolt Skyline parts to it. The double unicorn, which is one of the all-time gnarliest builds of, like, ever. Like, that is probably one of my favorite JDM builds ever. The double unicorn. That is awesome. You've seen it in person. It's a work of art. That's a Skyline drivetrain and Skyline front clip. An R34 Skyline front clip in a Stagia, which is a wagon. It is basically a 5-door Skyline, which is... oh. So, in the same way that you know, the Stagia can bolt all the Skyline parts to it, my Coronet is the same as this. It is the same as that. It's a Charger. The underpinnings are a Charger, are a 69 Charger. Or 68, 69, and 70. Any parts. So, AP, that's the reason why I bought it. That's the reason why I bought it, because Charger parts will bolt to it. Not the outside, not the exterior parts. Like, I mean, you might be able to graft a Charger front clip onto it. Maybe. You might be able to do that. But a 4-door Charger would look very strange, I'll admit. But, yeah, you can bolt Charger suspension, Charger engines, Charger transmissions, anything. That's the reason why I bought it. Because, yeah, it's completely swappable with any Charger parts, dude. I call it a crew cab Charger. That's basically what it is. It's crew cab. 4-door. So, yeah, it's like, I want to do something like the Stagia build, right? Like, that would be the best thing, to put all the performance parts from a Charger underneath that thing, and then have this sedan with a floor shift pistol grip, like, manual transmission, and confuse the hell out of people. Just be like, what? You know? Yeah, that's kind of what I want to do with it. That's sick. You can make it a wolf in sheep's clothes. Bingo. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. Yeah, that would be rad, man. Put the big block Chrysler in there. Even a Hemi in there. People would get so mad if I put a Hemi in that car, because a Hemi never came in the Coronet. At least, a Hemi never came in a 4-door Coronet. But yeah, we'll talk about that more when that thing is finished. Do it anyways. It'll bolt. A Gen 2 Hemi will bolt in, but I don't have 10 grand to spend on a long block for a Hemi. I'm thinking 440 Magnum or a motorhome 440, like Roadkill style would probably be good. When I win the lotto, I'll ship you out a Barra to put it in something. Honestly, AP, if you hit the lottery and you give me a Barra, it's going in that. It's going in that. Because a lot of those trucks, a lot of these Fords from the 50s came with inline 6s in them. Yep. Once upon a time, we made a lot of inline 6s. Not a lot of people know that the Corvette, the first years for the Corvette, 53, 54, had an inline 6 in it.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Not a lot of people know that. Arc Blue. Dude, that thing with a Barra in it, that would be awesome. People would get very confused. Yeah. Like those old trucks, dude. Yeah, I mean, Ford put inline 6s in trucks until 97, dude. Check this out, AP. So the Bear is a 4-liter, right? Ford over here. Now, keep in mind that this is only a single overhead cam, right? But, oh, not shopping. Ford made a 5-liter inline 6. And they made a 5-liter inline 6 basically from the late 60s all the way to 1997. It's a 5-liter inline 6. It's designed for towing. Like, when you have this, the stroke is gigantic. I mean, the piston is freaking huge on these things. When you, yeah, somebody put LS heads on one of those things. Yeah, it makes torque for days, but it's not a it's not a cross flow. It's a reverse flow head, but single overhead cam, right? But they made them until the 90s. So here, they switched it and called it the 4.9, and they put it in trucks like mine until 97 or 96 actually. Yeah, pretty nuts, dude. That motor has a reputation for being literally indestructible. I've seen videos on YouTube of a kid that's trying to be like Whistling Diesel, and he basically had the thing pegged on the rev limiter for 20 minutes with no coolant. Just things like na 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 na, and then it finally shut off because it got too hot, right? The thing cooled down, kid came back the next day, it started right up. Those motors, I don't know what they did to those things, but they're like, that video's out there. It's weird. The kid's like, yeah, I'm going to try to kill this 300 inline 6, man. This motor sucks. Nope. Did you see last Pro Charger this summer for me, it looks like? No, dude, what's up? Pro Charger for you. What do you put it in, the Charger? He said it sucks. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, this kid's like, I don't care about this engine. You know, I want a V8. I'm gonna ruin this motor. And yeah, couldn't kill it. Guy he could not kill the engine. And he's just like, wow, that motor's really cool. I'm like, yeah, it's 300. Yep. Oh yeah, Vin. An engine that got so hot it warped it warped everything inside and almost basically melted inside, and then the metal just basically. The metal melted, right? Or just kind of drooped a little bit, and then basically when it cooled down, it sprang back into position, and the thing started right up. Still wish we could find a dual overhead cam head that would fit the 300. Two J heads, maybe? I mean, dude, that 300 with a 2J head on it would be... I mean, that's pretty much not going to happen. But that... I would honestly, if I could pick anyone, it'd probably be a Barra head. That would probably be the closest one. Right? Bore spacing is too tight on the 2J. You can find a part to fit anything when you have a mill. That's right. I don't know what the 300 is. It's a 4.9 liter AP. Dude, that's what I'm trying to tell you. The pistons are gigantic for an inline six. They're huge. That inline six cannot rev very high because the stroke is insane. But it makes torque. That's why they still made them for towing, because inline sixes are amazing for towing. That's why, you know, Utes have freaking oh. Hey, hold on. Jace liked my reply. So no Polybridge 3? Oh, we could play Polybridge 3. Is that out today, Alex? Yeah, it's basically a diesel. AP, actually, people turbo those things. They turbo the 300, and it sounds despicable. It sounds like a semi-truck, just like, de-stroke it down and it would rev like you wouldn't believe. Yeah, it's just a head, Tessa. It's a reverse flow head, so the intake and the exhaust are on the same side. It's not cross flow like a Barra or a 2J or a RB26. Guys, here, check this out. Look, I'm not one to be like, oh, social medias and stuff. I gave Chase the salute, the Han Solo salute, and he liked it. My guy. All right. He has no idea who I am, but all right, that's cool. I probably should have said something like, I've been playing since the game came out. You don't know me. But, yeah. I've literally... Yeah, we've been playing... Dude, I remember somebody linked the Satisfactory trailer in 2018, and I watched it, and I said, yep, playing that game. Less than an hour, check on Steam. You don't know me. You don't know me. I've been here the entire time. Feel like that scene in Anchorman. We've been here literally the entire time you've been here. Oh. Well. You don't sound so good. Are you getting sick? It's the pollen, Gujar. Pollen in New England is... Dude, the Mustang looks brown right now. The Mustang is painted black. It looks brown right now because it's caked in pollen. I'll take a picture of you guys, and you guys will be like, ha ha. Jace is an excellent community manager, Foxtrot. He is, yeah, top. Him and Snoot, top of my list, man. Absolutely, excellent community managers. Are you getting the wildfire smoke? A little bit, Jim. Yeah. Oh, dude, the pollen is just horrid. It is horrid right now. Like, dude, I took the truck out a little bit, and you can see that. Look at the roof. Look at the roof of the truck. It looks like dust. That's not dust. That's not dust. See how the paint looks like kind of matte up there? It's caked in pollen. I had it outside, and it's caked in pollen, which is just bananas, dude. So that's what we have, dude. Yeah. That's why I'm like... It's because of the freaking pollen, dude. It's everywhere. And if you try to, like, open your car door, you're going to get it all over. So what happens is, like, I open the car door, then I forget about it. Then I'm, like, sitting here doing this. And, yeah. Oops. Not playing Polybridge 3 SMH. It's not out yet. It's not out yet, you pillock. Let's take a look in here. Hello from your new PS4. Hey, Jackery. Dude, Blue, I usually don't get allergies. It's so bad that even I'm like, it's literally like inhaling sand at this point. And I hate sand. It's coarse, rough, and it gets everywhere. Just like pollen. Yeah, Joe, the air quality kind of sucks because those Canadians keep importing their wildfire smoke. Sorry, Levier. You still play KSP, Kappa? I'm gonna hit you, and it's gonna hurt, S. It's gonna hurt. Dude, I got a pretty damn good right hook. You don't have allergies? Do you want some? No. Nah. I'm good. Alright, maybe we'll switch over to Polybridge in a second. I kind of want to see where the... if we have the SSTO pad loaded into this craft file. Catch me on the ground and we'll see. Oh, I will. When your car breaks down and mine doesn't. Alright, what do we have in here? What do we have in here? What do we have? Hey. Hey. We built this in KSB too. It's not as good as this one, but hey. Boom. Roasted. Road-sided. Actually, those cab lights aren't correct. Did you guys ever notice that cab lights on trucks, and AP, I don't know if this is a thing down under, but cab lights have 3 in the center and 2 on the outside. It's not like uniform across the top. I never noticed that until kind of recently, and I'm like, oh. Yeah, there's 3 cab lights across the top, like 1, 2, and 3, and then there's no 4th or 5th here, and then there's just ones on the outside. On trucks, yeah, no, for real. The cab lights. The cab lights on any ute, dude. Any ute that has cab lights. There's 3 in the center, and then there's 2 on the outsides. Dude, it really, really, really screwed with me. Here, 1996 Ford F2. Let's go F350, because that's more likely to have cab lights. Dude. So the cab lights, you see them here, and they look all nice and uniform, right? Like, oh, okay, that's not a big deal. No, they're actually spaced 3 in the center. Like, that one is uniform right there. But, yeah, the three in the center are close to each other. It's kind of hard to tell because of perspective, but those are closer than the outside ones, which is... And now I can't unsee it. It's literally on every truck that I see. Like, look at this picture. It doesn't... Shut up. Go away. It doesn't look like it, but look at the spacing. It doesn't look like it, but those 3 are actually closer to each other. There's more of a gap there than there is there. It's very subtle, but it's there. Very, very weird, man. Also, that truck looks really good in red and white like that. Yeah, the outermost ones are like inset back a little bit. Dude, it really screwed with me. My cab lights aren't right on that truck, which is very weird. See, we only have lights like that on big semi-trucks. Yeah, dude, there it is. Yeah, O-Force, look. Yeah, dude, look. What the frick? What in the absolute balls? They're not spaced correct. I hate that. I hate it. Not really a thing on utes. Oh, okay. You only have that on semi-trucks. Got it. But see, look. It's very subtle, but it's there. The 3 are clustered in the center, spaced equidistantly, and then the outer ones are further away. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I thought they were the same for the longest time. At least it's symmetrical. Yep. All right, so there's the SSTO. Now, where is its launch pad? Per federal regulation, 131 designates a wide, heavy vehicle. Yeah, that's very strange, man. Hey, Moo, what's going on? I don't think I have the launch pads loaded in on this craft file. Yeah, they're definitely not here. That's there, though. It's a 747 with 777 engines. Truck's so thick, you need signals to see how thick they are. Dude. AP, you want to see something nuts? Here. This is space news, guys. This is truck space news. So my buddy Zach, I know he has pictures of him. Because Zach is the nerdiest of the nerds, dude. Yeah, you want to see a freaking wide load here? Look at this thing.
First News is working to learn where large tanks that were transported through Warren were heading. This video was sent to us of the trailers hauling the tanks in Lordstown.
Dude.
The slow-moving truck caused slight traffic issues in the area. A spokesperson with
the thing is quite literally 3 lanes wide.
Ohio State Highway Patrol says off-duty troopers were assisting Bale Brothers with the escort.
Bale Brothers.
The load was a 299-foot empty tank that weighed...
That's going to Boca Chica, by the way, guys. It's a freaking road freight train. It absolutely is. Look, it is because look, they have this truck, this Kenworth is in the center, and it's tractive effort, for real. They have a truck up front that's pulling the tank, and then another truck, and it's pulling another tank behind it. Like you can see the start of the other tank over there. It's absolutely absurd. That is an absurdly heavy tank. That's so cool. Look at this thing. Never mind just a fifth wheel, okay? Never mind just a fifth wheel.
First News is
we have a fifth wheel up here, a sixth wheel, a seventh wheel, and an eighth wheel right there. And then a 9th, 10th, and 11th wheel out the back. My Ford Ranger could pull that. Oh boy, there's water in the exhaust. Oh. All right. Anyway. So I'm trying to find the launch pad for this because a lot of you guys are newer viewers. A lot of you guys haven't seen me do this ever. What I used to do in Kerbal 1 is make the entire launch complex for the vehicle. Now this launch complex is for a small SSTO with double shuttle motors on it, and that's the truck that I needed to move it. It could be that too, Journey, yeah. I feel attacked and just to let you know, I replaced my exhaust last year. Oh, there's water in the exhaust. Oh. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right, goalie. Here, you guys want to see other pictures of that you might not see anywhere else? There you go. How about a picture from the cab of one of the trucks? Bruh. Yeah, okay, you're right, Journey. It's just one truck, two truck. Dude, look at that thing. Twins, Basil. Twins. Why KSP 1 and not 2? I want to mess with ground infrastructure, and you can't really do that in KSP 2 right now. Bruh. Bruh. Those are off the starbase. Yeah, so I'm going to need to go and grab... Oh, wow. I haven't done this in forever. Engineering Mode 922 backup. LV. We need LV5A. Launchpad revision 9. Copy that. Go over here. Saves. Engineering Mode. Okay. They're not going to KSC. They're going to Boca Chica. Okay. Here's its launch pad. Oh. Wow. That's super upgraded from before. Dude, the hybrid tech, look at it. Oh, the hybrid. Dude, I went ham on this thing. Whoa. Yeah, hybrid tech upgrade, July 27th. To do. Derp-de-diddly derp-de-derp-de-derpson. Thanks, Past DJ. Very cool. Okay. Well, screw it. The SSDO's already on it. Let's see if it works. Man, that past EJ certainly had things together. I want to give it a pass. Good. Was this pre or post Dart? Post. What are these posts for? Huh, well, whatever. Master rotational control is enabled. Launchbox rotational control is enabled. Erector rotational control is enabled. The overclock. Piston OC is not bound. Debug rotational controller should be disabled. Okay, let's see if I remember how to do this. So, okay. Oh, yep, the whole thing is on landing gear. That's good. I think I have the SSDO here in a debug position. That's why it's on the pad. Are the jets on the back generators? Actually, this whole launch complex is a mobile launcher, TARS. The jet engines are there to be able to move it. The whole thing is on landing gear, so I could literally drive my launch pad around and place it wherever I want. That was the whole reason why, when I put Kerbal constructs in the game, why I built this out here, because this pad can literally just roll over there. And yeah, the whole pad's mobile. And then it has a mobile service structure that actually goes in and out of here. Polybridge 3 is out now. Cool. Alright, so let's put the brakes on, and then I think doing this. Okay, so the SSDO is just chilling. We had the keepers, which basically hold the thing in place. Make sure that it doesn't move. Okay. So now what we're going to need to do is enable the launch box rotational controller. Alright, it's nothing is happening, so that means we're loading up potential energy, so pause. That's the attachment node. I just have to remember how to use this. Whenever I build something, whenever I build out a system, like a launch pad, I always have some type of UX detent here when I designed my system. So basically, if you tell the launch box rotational controller, and so that's this piece right here, if you tell it to rotate and it doesn't rotate, that means you forgot something. I try to make it as intuitive as possible, but, you know, of course, someone will still mess it up. Is EJ playing Polybridge? Well, Polybridge 3 just came out. Starliner Checkpoint Review. I read this yesterday. Forge, yeah, it's not, yeah. I mean, it's good to get all this stuff figured out, dude, but yeah, it's... Okay. Alright. Everything is open, right? Everything's opened up. We might need to introduce a piston overclock here, just to make sure that these are working. So open the editor, let me mess with the AGs, and then go... select this and select the overclock. Let's do force limiter. Force limit. So this is a complicated piece of machinery, guys. This thing is... This is about as complicated as you're going to get in KSP. Alright, so copy that, paste that, in stock KSP, with the DLCs, might I add. This is no mods. This is all stock parts. The only mods that I have ever loaded into KSP 1 are just visual mods right now. So what I'm trying to do is get the launch box to rotate up into position, and I need this docking port to attach to that docking port right there. That's why I have the keepers holding the SSTO in place. Oh Lord, he's building launch pads again. Ah, here I go, building launch pads again. Alright, so now that the overclock has been enabled, what I'm going to do is go in here, launch box rotational control, play. Yeah, Moo, with the DLC, yeah. Okay. Pause the rotational controller. I'm missing something. Back it out. We're just loading up potential energy into the system. That's asking for something to get broken. Let me go into my action groups and see if I have this figured out. I have a disable vessel collision somewhere enabled here. Where is this? Oh, there's a locking mechanism. I put a lock mechanism to hold the box to the pad, so if I hit 2... See, that's what I mean. There's a detent in there. You can't... The pad won't work unless you do it in the right order. Alright. So one of these RCS balls, if I had to guess, this one is connected to the plate, and this one with the thermometers, which is acting as a guide, is attached to the I-beam. And toggling same vessel interaction here is probably going to make this thing clip through that a little bit, if I'm looking at this right. is she locked? Why isn't it moving? This is hybrid tech, even better. Something is preventing it from moving. Yep. And I'm not 100% sure what's doing it. I put some kind of... Past DJ put some kind of detent in here, and I'm not sure what it is. It could just be that these aren't powerful enough, so... Let me go into the overclock here. OC, and we will increase our hydraulic force here by doing, let's just go straight for the money. Copy it, paste it. Basically, this is increasing my hydraulic pressure here. There it goes. We got it. Ladies and gentlemen, we got it. Yeah, okay. They're just, the hydraulics weren't strong enough to move it. We had to put an overclock in. Just hope it doesn't hit the thing, hit the SSDO. Here, let me see if we can move the deploy angle forward and then switch to the SSDO real quick. Undeploy the brakes. It'll roll forward just a little bit, make sure it gets out of the way. I just want to make sure we don't hit the tips of the shuttle engines here. So it looks like I did do some modifications to the SSTO design for the hybrid tech system. Remember, what we're trying to do is get that docking port to attach to that. But the alignment has to be perfect, or else it's just going to snap dock and the whole thing will explode. Have you seen the new Falling Frontier game footage around 2:30? No, I haven't, Doom. Just give me a second, man. I gotta make sure that this works. Okay, so we're a little bit misaligned here, and the keepers can actually center us. All right, so the latching pin here is going to clip through. And then when it bottoms out, when the hydraulics are fully extended, the launch box Are we stuck? Those are only set to go to 230. Okay. Go here. Hit control from here. We're 0.01, so that means we're negative pitch just a little bit. Let's set this to 238, and we got to make sure that that's positive. Or basically, it needed to say 0. 0.1 should be good enough. All right, so now what we're going to do is lock out the pad here. We're locking out the launch box to make sure it's stuck in that position. Oh, not this again. Alright, so the one that's actually reading 0 is the launch box. Okay, that's locked. Perfect. Alright, so now what we need to do is take the keepers and push the SSTO backwards. Extend the risers here. All right, AP. Good night, dude. See ya. There we go. It's in. Okay, take the risers, lower it. Now what we got to do is move this up, make sure that snap docks into position. We should get an undock flag there. Perfect. Lock that hydraulic out. Undeploy those. Okay. All right. She's bolted to the pad. Lock it up. What's the mission? Pogo, I'm actually just testing to see if this thing works. To be 100% with you, I'm just trying to see if it works. Where's my control point? It should be up in the nose cone if I remember this right. Yep, there's our master control point. This is before I found you, never seen it. So Pogo, it's a fully 100% reusable SSTO and reusable launch pad. That's what this is. It reuses everything. All you really need to do is give this thing new payload to put inside of its payload bay, which it has a satellite with a payload dispenser in there, and refuel it. And that's it. All you need is fuel and payloads. I decided a long time ago, Pogo, this is before a lot of people started watching the stream to watch the stream now, but then again, a lot of you that did watch it at the time are still here, and I thank you for that. I used to get nuts with this stuff. Absolutely insane. I would build entire launch complexes. Fully reusable. All you really need to do is send a truck out here. The truck would attach to the fuel spigot, reload the fuel farm, and go. I was building my own VABs, my own horizontal integration facilities, payload facilities, and I did it in a save rule set that I call Mission Mode 2, which basically no reverts, career mode, with chat deciding how much money I should be budgeted for a project, it was hardcore, dude. It was the most hardcore KSP I've played. Yeah, I made Falcon 9 launch pads, we made SSTO launch pads, I made sounding rocket launch pads, we made all kinds of stuff. But here, watch this. Ready? So I'm gonna hit 2, and we should unlock here. So now what we need to do, the launch box rotational controller is maxed out, master rotational controller is at 0, erector rotational control at 0, Master rotational control is unbound. Okay. So what I need to do is select my master rotational control and set play position on the launch box and play position on the erector control. Launch box should start up here and go from play position 1 to play position 0, and the erector should go from play position 0 to play position 1. Okay, I like the spline curve like that, and this should take 90 seconds. All right, cool. Launch box, erector control are good. All right, so let's hit 2 to unbolt the detent points, right? Make sure that nothing is locked here, like that. Okay, now we're unlocked. And hit play. See what she does. It tilts up like an ICBM before launch. It's an erector. Yep. Watch this. I mean, it should work. If it blows up, sorry. I don't know why the keepers ended up being on the erector, but just ignore that part. Yeah, our hinges are binding a little bit. That's the game basically saying that I'm binding up a hinge and it really doesn't like it. Hang on. Let me go into my action groups again. It doesn't look like some of these have enable vessel collision on them. They do. Okay. Make sure it rests in position. Hit 1, lock ourselves into the position. Are we going to see it launch? Sure. I'll see if I can run through the procedures and get it to go. Why not? All right. Yep, 89.9. We're pointed straight up. Perfect. Is this an SSTO? It is, Jack, yeah. The Z fighting on the fuselage is triggering? Yeah. Z fighting. Oh, that right there? Yeah. Okay, payload is loaded. And we're in position. So, fueling operations is the next thing. Did I leave these tanks full? I did. Okay, so this is going to get a little weird because there's a lot of fuel tanks scattered around on the SSDO. I just have to make sure that I select all the right ones because fuel balance is very important. Basically, the SSDO has a lot of tanks that are in weird spots to balance the whole damn design here. And there is some clipped fuel tanks to mimic the right fuel density, I'm not gonna lie. X200. FLA 215 fuel tank adapter, 215L, 215L, 215 fuel tank adapter, X200, 16, X200, 16. These Mark III fuselages are just the launch pads. Just gotta make sure we select all the SSDO's tanks. I don't want to fill up the launch pad with fuel. So, like I said, this is a fully reusable system, dudes. We should just be able to... Mark II fuselage short. That one has fuel in it already, but... Okay. That must be some residual or something. Alright, X200. Let me just take inventory. Okay, so there should be 2 X200s here on either side. Okay, so that's the ones on the right there. Do we have another X200 on the left? Okay, that's the 2 on the left. Once again, the SSDO is an amalgamation of fuel tanks because this SSDO is based off of the Venture Star in real life, and the Venture Star had hydrogen and carbon composite tanks. Which, yeah, that gets to be a little bit difficult to replicate with in KSP. Nope, that's not the right X200. 1, 2, 3, 4. What are the floating aero brakes for? Jack, those are keepers. They shouldn't be attached there. They should be down there on the launch pad. They went with the transporter erector because I placed them there because I probably moved them incorrectly. That is basically a guide. It's a keeper that keeps the SSTO in position when we go to dock the launch pad. Because, you know, in KSP 1 and KSP 2, landing gear kind of skitches around a little bit. So, yeah, the keeper system, for whatever reason, decided when I rebuilt this, I probably did it fast, and I probably ended up staying up on there. I know the screen is a bit of a, it's a bit of a mess right now. I just gotta be careful. You don't want to miss a fuel tank. $215, X200, X200, A215. Here, let's put the forward fuel tanks together. The forward biconic fuel tank. Let's put it up there. Okay. There's another A215. Okay, these two are parallel to each other. Excellent. So those are the top. I mean, yeah, this all comes with reuse, dudes. Okay, we have all the fuel tanks. All the tanks are in position. I'll put some down here behind me to not clog up the screen completely. All right. Let's select Tank Farm 1. There's the Tank Farm 1 tank. And then now we need to go here. Okay. Crossfeed is enabled. Fuel valves are open. Let's start propellant loading. We're go for prop load. Okay, what we gotta watch here. So right here, up here in the arrow UI from KSP1, we have our pitch heading and then we have our pitch rate. Okay, this is our rate in degrees a second radian and our rate in degrees a second wait, what's A? I forget what A is. Probably when I got hit in the face the other day. I probably forgot. What's A again, chat? That's degrees a second radian and degrees a second angle, maybe? So note that our rates are changing on the vehicle. The reason why is because pitch, heading, and roll here I'm getting that information from the onboard systems, from the onboard control point. The control point is in the nose cone. It's a docking port. Will you cover the X2 splashdown? Yeah, of course. So guys, you know, for the newer viewers, you know how I can kind of see if something is weird with a rocket before it happens? And don't get me wrong, I'm not bragging. Sometimes I miss it. Sometimes I completely miss it and then it blows up. Sometimes I know it's going to explode before they do. Right? Like, we nailed the guidance system problems with the Hakuto R mission, and then of course there's the Space Y mission from Astra where the rocket went sideways off the pad, and I saw it was going sideways before it was going sideways, right? I know about rates and guidance systems and all that stuff from doing this. So look, see how we're at 89.9, 90, and roll 0, and see how it's kind of moving? The reason why these rates are changing is because we're slowly filling the thing up with fuel and it's rocking around a little bit. Crew scheduled. Yeah, they undocked. When is splashdown? I saw New Shepard as it happened, Creeper. I saw that the engine did something weird, and I actually missed that one. I didn't think anything of it at the time. Get down. Speaking of paying attention, that's what screwed us. I think it's the hinge, but I'm not 100% sure. Hey, Kyron, thanks for the 5 subs. I appreciate it. It exploded.
Discovery, go and drop up.
Yeah, whatever is going on there, that's what did it. That hinge is binding. So, an important thing to understand with Kerbal is that,
go and throttle up.
Look, see this? See this kind of jittering around? That's Kerbal's way of telling you that that part is getting crushed.
Discovery, go and throttle up.
Kerbal has no way, there's no crushing in KSP. There's no compression mechanics because the parts aren't soft body. All right, so
Discovery,
there's
go
only
and
like
throttle up.
crushing between different parts, right? But a part itself won't tell you that it's getting crushed. It won't do anything. There's no, basically we bound the hinge, and this thing kind of wiggling around kind of pulled something apart when we were fueling, which kind of sucks. But they said splashdown is 10:04 p.m. Central, so 11:04 our time. Okay, cool. Yeah, spleen. No, it didn't. Look, ready? Boop. It didn't go right. Yeah. Let me see what F3 says. Rocco max fuel tank collided within the Rocco max fuel tank. Interesting. So the F3 menu is only going to tell me where the first structural failure was. We were binding something up because of that hinge. So yeah, this is what makes this so difficult. You got to do it in first try, one shot. In my mission mode 2 save, there were no quick loading allowed. No quick loading, no reverting, no nothing. How often did this happen? I've never seen that behavior before, but then again, I haven't tested this pad much, Erudite. Something was binding with the hinge down here, and I'm not 100% sure what it is. We're going to have to go and look. Alright, so let's go in here and make sure that we have same vessel collision enabled on all this stuff. Yep. Yep, it's all enabled. I'm not entirely sure why that thing was binding like it was, but unless we have something else that it's... Don't forget the floating flaps too. Oh yeah. There. Knowing me, I would have set this to an absolute snap like that. Actually, probably one up. So once again, these ports are here. They serve as a keeper to hold the thing in place. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure why that thing popped. It's kind of strange. Something bound during fueling operations, which was the bane of my existence with this stupid thing. Trying to fuel the rocket introduces such like Kerbal is not designed for this type of fuel transfer. It's really not supposed to, like, I don't think the devs ever envisioned doing something like this. But the thing is, fellas, is that when you do this, you know, you're shifting the center. This is technically all one gigantic vehicle, and you're shifting the mass like crazy. I know what I did wrong. I know exactly what I did wrong. I didn't lock that when they went into the upright position. I started fueling operations when this wasn't locked. You have to lock out the hydraulics or the rotational parts. If you don't lock them out, the whole thing will sag. Which is interesting because it didn't show in the rates, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what went wrong there. Have you done that solid gray? How have you done the solid gray back on the vehicle? Flags. It's flags, Jack. I have a color swatch pack with flags here. See? Yeah, and I use that to block off certain things. The launch box is actually made out of them too. You should make a checklist? Yeah, I used to know the checklists by heart, dude. Yeah, because I designed the system. And like I said, I purposely put detents in here to make sure that you wouldn't be able to go to the next step without enabling certain systems. There's no way to do that except if I hit disable crossfeed right there. Disabling the crossfeed on the docking ports, basically my fuel flow systems, should make it... That should be a sufficient enough reminder, I suppose. I mean, it's really not. There's really no way to put a detent, design a detent into the UX for the system here. Yeah, I'd say we got pretty dang far for no checklist though, boys. Okay, so a couple of things that I saw that needed to be fixed. The master rotational control needs to be bound correctly. So we can do that here. Play position for the launch box. Play position. Launch box rotational control should start in the 1 position. Erector control should start in the 0 position and go to 1. There we go. My overclock on the hydraulics was no good. The reason why this... The reason why this is the way that it is because it's, I probably didn't finish it, dudes. We probably never finished the thing. I probably did, if I'm remembering right, I built this very, very quickly just to see if my strong hinge system would work correctly. Because a problem that I had with the SSDO pads is that I had no way, we invented this thing, okay? We invented this system in KSP, this kind of build play methodology called hybrid tech. Hybrid tech is building hinges in KSP. It's based off of Kraken tech. My original Kraken tech is something that the Reddit community kind of coined a little while back. The Kraken tech is, for the most part, building hinges out of parts in KSP. If you notice, these are fluid spectrometers are being used as a bearing to hold the RCS balls, which are spherical, basically being used as a spherical bearing right here. And that makes hinges, right? You can make hinges that are insanely strong. The reason why physics-less parts are very, very, very strong. Look, they're really, really strong. 15 meters a second impact. They're very, very strong parts. Now, Kraken Tech kind of went out of favor once robotics came into the game with the Breaking Ground DLC. Once the robotics came into the game, we didn't really see a use for Kraken Tech, because the robotics would make everything one vehicle. How we used to have to do this is if we wanted Kraken Tech to work, we had to undock. I did something similar in KSP a little while back to make landing legs for a lunar lander, just to see if it would work. Turns out KSP2 doesn't like docking things together right now, so it doesn't really work too well. Yeah, we could use flags for warning signs. Yep. So in KSP1, though, we switched completely to robotics, but it turns out that the robotic parts actually are not very strong. They bend. The hinge, the way the phys-X joints are set up, the robotic parts like to kind of bend and flex. They're very noodly. So that's what we built our original SSDO pads with, very noodly robotics, and it didn't really work right. Here, I can show you. So check this out. So LV5B2 pad. Check this thing. This is one of my... It never really worked right, but this is one of the most hardcore things we've ever made. Check this out. So we'll save and continue with that. Would it help if you made the pad so that the center of mass is offset when it's down like this, but when it's lifted vertical, it shifts where it's supposed to be, if that made sense? Creeper, look at it from the side. I already designed it that way, dude. Yeah, I already designed it. When the thing flips up, the center of mass moves basically right over the root part. That's done entirely on purpose. So yeah, you're on the right track. That's pretty smart. That's pretty astute of you to notice that. Good eye. Yeah, the root part is that ring fuselage in the center right there. And I found that anything that kind of sits on the ground in KSP really likes it if the center of mass is kind of aligned with the root part. That's why everything is like super symmetrical with this pad design. Hey, Evil Rays, thanks for the raid. There's a lot of things KSP2 doesn't like right now. Evil Rays raid! Evil raid with rays! What's going on, guys? Evil, what were you up to? So here, check this out. I don't think I put it in the right folder. Oh, I just put the load meta file in by accident. Working on an advanced furnace setup in stationeers. Cool, man. After blowing yourself up yesterday. Stationeers do be like that. LV5B2 pad hybrid tech. Okay, maybe I did start messing with some hybrid tech for it. Alright, let's go. Close this out. So I started making pads for these things. Waspaloy is a hell of a smelting challenge. What's Waspaloy? So check this out. This vehicle has a bigger brother. It's called LV5B2. That's its bigger brother. And its bigger brother has a much, much bigger pad. And this pad, if you notice, has none of those hybrid tech things. And, dude, if you follow my KSP kind of lore, right? I took a break from Kerbal for about 6 months in October of 2021 because I did a 6-month grind to get this thing working correctly. And then finally, when the thing was fully operational, it did. Finally, when the thing was fully operational, it did this. In front of like 1,000 people. It did exactly what the small SSTO did just a second ago. And I did kind of do... I never really did a full accident investigation to figure out why it did it. Long story short, parts in Kerbal don't like holding up 2,500 tons of orbiter and fuel. 2,500 tons. So basically the noodly hydraulics and the noodly robotics weren't enough to hold this thing. They weren't enough to hold it up. It just didn't do it. It just couldn't do it. So I took a 6-month break from KSP. And I got so frustrated. I basically rage quit for like 6 months and then played Satisfactory for like 6 months straight. That day sucked. That hurt a lot. It really hurt seeing the thing go up in flames. After about 8 months into the project, I just said, screw it. I can't do this anymore. I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. It was stressing me out way too much. Which kind of sucks. I really should have kept going with it. But interestingly enough, a little bit like 6 months later, I got back into KSP. And we figured out hybrid tech. Hybrid tech, like I said, is finding a way, it finds a way to basically make the robotics a lot stronger. They won't move around. We found a way to get them to basically not drift around at all. We found a way to basically make them not be noodly, okay? So what we did was we combined the ideas from Kraken Tech with the robotics. Now, the thing is, and what kind of enabled the entirety of this thing is that I didn't realize that physics-less parts, so like, check this out. If you select a regular part in KSP, see, same vessel interaction is a toggleable flag right there, see? SVI for short. That basically makes it so two parts of a craft in KSP can collide with each other. Their hitboxes will register. If there's one craft, right, that has... if one craft has a bunch of parts loaded in, you can kind of clip parts in, and it's not that big of a deal. Like, you could do this, right, with this, and then take that and move that down. And as long as both part doesn't have same vessel interaction enabled, Kerbal will just register that as part clipping. It's fine. But if you enable same vessel interaction, they'll start colliding with each other. Now, the thing is that all the hinges that we made were very small and very, very small pieces, and these pieces were often science parts. And these science parts are physics-less. Physics-less basically means that they're not susceptible to aerodynamic. They're not susceptible to aerodynamic or heating. Now, why? Why would they make a part like this? Because, well, for optimization purposes, that thermometer, right? It has a hitbox and it is collidable, but it's not going to be susceptible to heat or susceptible to aerodynamics. And the reason why is doing an aero calculation off a part this small is not a very efficient way to do things. That would slow the game down. If you had 1,000 of these on there, it would slow the game down trying to do a calculation, a heating or aero calculation off of this. So what physics-less parts do in KSP is they take their mass information and they apply the mass information to the part that they're attached to. So basically, they're physics-less. They will still collide. If you throw a thermometer into the ground in KSP, it'll still blow up, right? But it's not susceptible to aerodynamics and it's not susceptible to heating. Okay? So the crazy thing about physics-less parts is that, so in Kerbal, right, if you have two parts that are physical parts, right, and I put a lot of compression load on this thing, its relationship with the part that it's attached to, if I try to crush the thing, it will end up bending. And the relationship between the two parts will actually bend. That's the reason why you have noodly hydraulics and noodly robotics in KSP. It's because the game is basically treating these like two separate parts that are kind of conjoined at the hip that can move around. And if you crush one of these hinges, it will basically bend the hinge out of shape. Now the hinge won't break because there's no crumpling physics. It's not beam. It's not like BeamNG. Kerbal has no crumpling physics. So the end result is just something that's completely bent out of shape, right? So the thing about physics-less parts is that because they're imparting their physical information to the part next to them, they don't drift, they don't bend around. This thing will always stay in the same spot relative to the piece that it's attached to because it's physics-less. Here's the thing about the physics-less parts though. The physics-less parts, if you right-click on it, there's no option for same vessel collision here. See, there's same vessel interaction on the fuselage, right? But not on the thermometer. See what I'm talking about? Can't do it. So when robotics first got into the game, my solution, because I wanted to use Kraken Tech with them, but we couldn't, my solution was just put a bunch of these together and strut everything in some crazy elaborate hierarchical strut mechanism like this. Now, despite this thing's chonkiness, it's still not good at holding up 2,500 tons. So, like I said, after that 6-month hiatus, I was just kind of messing around in KSP because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was like, I don't know, I can't. I pushed the game to the limit, and I basically found the limit of what these hydraulics can do, and it's not really fun if I'm just gonna do whatever, right? Like, oh, just go and put it out on the launch pad and hit spacebar. That's great. Could you coat your thermometers? Could you coat your pod in thermometers and use it as a heat shield? Well, Claude Voigt, no. They're not resistant to temperature. They don't have temperature. So the part that all of your thermometers are attached to, if you're going to make a thermometer thermal protection system, that part will just get hot. The thermometers, when you're going through re-entry, the thermometers will not, they'll just, for all intents and purposes, they're basically not there. So your heat shield would be really cool, but it would probably look amazing, but it wouldn't protect anything. So I went back into KSP a little bit later, and I just wanted to build an airplane for the heck of it. So I built the K92. I built this thing. And I tried to use a bunch of hinges. My problem with this thing is that it's got these big rotor blades on the end of the wings. See that? They're out on the way ends of the wings. And the problem I was having with the K92 build is that when I would go to helicopter with this thing and go up, these things would impart so much lift that it would basically bend the hinge, right? So I was sitting here kind of staring at this thing. And I'm like, how the heck am I going to get this thing to stay together? How the heck are we going to do that? Because these things need to be controlled by a central hinge. The reason why they need to be controlled by a central servo like this, right, is because they need to tilt, because these rotors don't tilt like a V22. These rotors can do this, and they can do that. It's only like maybe 5 degrees of tilt. They don't tilt all the way forward, V22 style, even though that would be really cool, right? So I needed some kind of strong structural connection to hold this whole thing together. So once again, I went with my, robotic parts with a lot of struts, and then used that as a guide rod, and then put the servo in the center of the plane, right? So I didn't have this big, ridiculously powerful thing kind of hanging off the side of the vehicle, right? So basically it has an axle that goes all the way out there, right? And we were still having problems with it. We were having problems with this thing basically just boing, like these things would bend like crazy, right? Or if I just had this thing out on the ends, it would just bend the whole thing upwards and wouldn't work. So I was just kind of messing around here thinking about this, and I was like, I put a physicless part out there, like one of my original thermometer bearings, right? Original Kraken Tech piece. I'm like, man, if only I could get that thing to work. If we could somehow find a way to make this like a separate vehicle, it would be awesome. And this is by pure chance. I can't believe I did this by pure chance. I was just kind of wasting time on the stream. I'm not sure what I need to do here. And then I clicked on some of the physicsless parts with the action group open, and I noticed something. Either that or somebody in chat told me. I don't really remember. But I noticed the option for enable same vessel interaction is in here as an action group. So you could right click here and there's no flag in the part action window for same vessel interaction like there is with other parts. But for whatever reason, the developers left the action group flag for same vessel interaction in the game. As long as you enable it with an action group. Thermo bearings. Yep. It's official. Spain has joined the Artemis Accords. Bueno. Me gusta España. Bienvenido, amigos. So, we figured out that you could use the thermo bearing as a part on the same vehicle. Because with the Kraken Tech bearings, how you had to get this thing to work, to get these things to interact in the past, is you had to undock stuff. You had to undock a vehicle, right? You had to undock, and it became a separate vehicle, and the hinge collided with the bearing on the hinge collided with the race on the hinge, and that's how you got it to work. But since same vessel interaction got put into the game, and we figured out that you could toggle SVI with an action group, boom. I made this. These things are held in place by what came to be called hybrid tech. Hybrid tech is a combination of robotics and Kraken tech. So it's half robotics, half Kraken tech. So we call it hybrid tech. Hybrid tech can be used to make insanely strong hinges. Insanely strong. Check this out. You want to see how strong? Look at this thing. So I stopped working on the K92 for a second and brought up an old project. This is the K29. It's supposed to be a small, short-range Kerbal transporting vehicle. Now watch this. Let's put this thing out. I'll show you. Half man, half bear, half pig. Man, bear, pig. Hey, T-Man. So check this out. Check this out. I wanted to see how strong these things were. Like, how good is this at registering what's going on? So I made this. I made an updated version of my old K29. The old K29 had jet engines and gyroscopes to point up and down, right? And that's how we maneuvered it around. I basically had jets that could pivot on old Kraken tech, right? And, you'd have to undock it, switch to the jets, which are basically being held in place as a separate vehicle, turn them upright, redock them, retake control of the plane, and keep flying. Now watch this, okay? So, this is the K29 hybrid tech. So I hit action group 1. And now the hinges, check that out. This has a drive shaft in it. It has a drive shaft that drives out to the hinges. And what you can do here is use hybrid tech as a gear. This thing has a synchronizer gearbox in it. Anybody that's familiar with helicopters knows what I'm talking about. My entire drive shaft and rotor mechanism is mounted on that light duty rotor. So this part is physically connected here. And the drive shaft is attached to the part. So this part is attached to the drive shaft, and there's basically two drive shafts there. One allows for the rotors to move, and the other one is the synchronizer. Now watch this. If I take this turbo shaft engine, we hit and we throttle it up, the engines start moving, right? Check this out. The streams are very inspiring. Hey, thanks, Tim. All right, so these parts are in symmetry. So if now, once again, the jet engines are not throttled. I just put it in there so it would make noise because I hate that the rotor blades spin and they make no noise. So if we go here and we start throttling up the helicopter motors, the other one, because it's in symmetry, is going to do what one does, the other one does, basically. So I'm going to hit the option to remove from symmetry here. Now watch this. This rotor, unpower it. This rotor, power it up. So we'll leave this like this. We'll peg that window to show that that rotor is not being powered. This one is being powered. Increase the torque. And this thing has one rotor powering two rotors. See that? Well, the gearbox skipped a tooth, but see, it's powerful enough. We skipped a tooth on the gear. That happens because of the fizz tick. Basically, when a part spins past a certain RPM, if this thing is at drive limit, if it spins past a certain RPM, it skips teeth. But see what I'm talking about? Hybrid tech is strong enough to make gearboxes. That one didn't really work, but you get the idea. Dimit with a 4-month resub and Lodata Hun with a 5-monther. Thank you, guys. So this thing actually has a synchronizer gear in it. So you could operate the entire vehicle off of one turbo shaft engine. That's it. And then it got me thinking. If I can make gearboxes out of this, we can make hinges. We can make hinges that don't drift. They don't drift. And that made me figure out that you can do a lot of cool stuff with Kraken tech. Like this. Or hybrid tech. Like this. It was basically a coming to Jebediah moment, right? I was like, oh my goodness. I can make all kinds of things with this. Tracked vehicles with hinges strong enough to hold the tracks in place. Yes, that does work. It can roll around, and it rolls over anything because the treads are made out of grip pads, right? We can make anything we want. Anything. Super strong, right? And what else do I have in here? I have other vehicles that have Kraken tech on here. I think one of the K200s. That one doesn't have hybrid tech, but that's a telescoping crane. I did a hybrid tech test here somewhere. I don't know exactly where it is. It might be in another craft file. You can make a sand crawler. Yep. What's the biggest machine you've built? I don't know, man. The endurance is pretty large. Yeah, Dreaming, I did. The endurance is pretty big. This ship can go anywhere in the solar system. Anywhere you want. And when I mean anywhere, I mean anywhere. The source of the Endurance's power is its drive mechanism. You can use hybrid tech to make drive mechanisms that can accelerate stuff to crazy speeds. This is a drive mechanism using same vessel interaction. It's not necessarily hybrid tech between cargo bays and landing legs. This thing has, if you guys are familiar with the Epstein drive from The Expanse, it basically has that built into it. Is that a Donager? It's based off of the Donager. Mach, yeah. It's based off of it, sure. It's kind of the same structural makeup of the Donager. This is the Donager right here. I based Endurance off of that. That's the Donager right there. Talking about launch pads, okay? Does the rocket launch pad crane count as one machine? Yeah, I suppose so. Can it go ludicrous speed? The Endurance can. The Donager cannot. I think I did, as a test, outfit the Donager with a prototype linear Kraken spike drive. Yeah, if you guys like The Expanse, I based this off of the MCRN Donager, which is basically the capital ships in The Expanse, guys, are basically flying skyscrapers. Like, if this ship was turned upright, the floors would be parallel to the ground. The decks on these ships go this way, not this way. So not Star Trek. They're basically flying skyscrapers. Yeah, I tried to build it like that, and I tried to. This uses more conventional propulsion. Most of the decks are fuel tanks because it doesn't have an Epstein drive. But yeah. Can we do a Collins launch? No. No, sorry. I wanna mess with hybrid tech. So, this one doesn't have hybrid tech in it, but what's the HL30? What was I trying to do here? Oh, that thing. That's Dart. Let's just move on. Let's just move on to something else. So, I figured out with hybrid tech that you could make all kinds of cool stuff. Check this out. This is a little crane for the back of my truck. That's based off of the crane that's actually on the back of U.S. Army HEMTTs. That's using little hybrid tech there. This thing is strong. It can lift up a good amount of stuff. Do you remember what was the first ever craft you made? Cozy, that was 10 years ago, man. So, as a test, and this is the reason why that launch pad that you just saw the SSTO blow up on, the reason why that pad isn't finished is because I just built this in a day to see if I could figure out a solution for the SSTO project. And yes, this will work, but I didn't get all the bugs figured out, but it'll work. Well, yeah, I was just wondering. I think, will you be doing any more of the weekly challenges? Yeah, Val, once Kerbal 2 kind of finds its footing, yeah, I will do more. But building a space station and docking multiple things together, which is this week's challenge, I have had literally no luck doing that. Like, no luck doing that. Ever. In any of my Kerbal 2 gameplay. Kerbal 2 has some weird docking port hierarchy stuff going on that I just don't generally understand. As a KSP1 send-out project, have you thought of finishing the big one? The big SSTO? Well, now that we're kind of going back and forth, because Kerbal 2 needs more time in the oven, now that we're going back and forth, I would like to make the big one work. At least once. Maybe that made that the challenge to get more bug reports to fix it. Probably. Contra, maybe they made it that? Yeah. So hybrid tech can be used for all kinds of cool stuff. We can use it to make hinges for transporter erectors, launch pads. We can do basically anything. Check this out. I wonder if it's in here. I don't think so. No, it's not in here. She's not in there. Radar repaired, sir. We're picking up signs of a Winnebago. There it is, Tunguska Hybrid Tech. Watch this. You can do all kinds of nutty stuff with this. Shuttle Mobile Launcher Project. Check this out, guys. Can't believe it. I'm surrounded by... Keep firing! So... the hybrid tech hinges are ridiculously strong. You can do a lot of pretty awesome stuff with them. That was a fun time during that period, the shuttle stuff, the A-shaped lifter. What do you mean, hired? Could you tank treads move an ML with the shuttle? Katra, I never got to that point with the Derek project. I never got that far. So check this out. You see that everything's kind of a wobbly mess until you enable it, and then everything gets nice and strong. Now watch this. What we should be able to do is take this and back it up. If we take this, we move the mast backwards a little ways, and then we tension these. These are called pendants on a real crane. We got to disable the motor there. Torque limiter basically 0. Now take the lines. See? You can lift stuff up. You can make your own cranes. Will you comb the desert in Satisfactory? That's where my my factory is in my main Satisfactory save. It's in the desert. Off topic, I'm discussing right now with a friend. Okay, what's up, Cosmo? Can you tell if the F-22 Raptor could match the F-35 in vectored thrust, not the VTOL? What do you mean vectored thrust? Put this on a boat, use it to recover SRBs. See, we're lifting up 9 tons of fuel. This is kind of taking the form inadvertently of a lattice, what's called a lattice crane. A lattice crane usually has different. A lattice crane has 3 different things coming off of it. There's the mast right here, and then there's the main boom. And if the main boom had more parts to it, it would have what's called a jib. Believe it or not, crane rigging borrows terms from sailing. So there's like a jib mast on a crane and a regular mast. This is the mast right here. That's the boom. This is just mast and boom on this crane. There's no jib. So if we pull this sucker back like this, check this out. Crane. Because Cosmo means going forward overland travel. Yeah, what do you mean by vectored thrust? Are you asking if the F-35 can actually vector thrust more than an F-22? I'm not 100% sure. I would say that the F-22 probably has more thrust vectoring, Cosmo, just for the sheer fact that it has 2 engines. But the interesting thing about the F-22's thrust vectoring is that it only goes up and down. but it goes up and down with 2 engines. So you can pitch down, pitch up, right? Or you can roll like this. It doesn't actually have any yaw thrust vector control, interestingly enough. The F-35 does, because it has one engine that can go, left, right, up, and down. So the F-35 has yaw thrust vector control, but it doesn't have roll thrust vector control like the F-22 does, interestingly enough. Well, cranes like that are probably manipulated similarly to the sails on a ship. Yeah, for the most part. And see, the whole system is on hybrid tech bearings, which make, like I said, they make this stuff absurdly strong. These hinges are attached to robotics, and the robotics won't drift. They won't bend and flex around because the RCS balls are holding them in place. It has thrust vectoring, Dragon. The F-35 is a monster. Like, I know people say, it's overpriced. Okay. Knowing what we know about systems engineering, you try designing one plane chassis to for all 3 branches of the military. 3 branches of the military that have aviation. So the Navy, the Marine Corps, and the Army. Or the Air Force, not the Army. Right? You try building one plane that satisfies the needs of all 3 of those branches. And have it not be a couple $1 trillion. Yeah. Spoiler alert. You can't. That thing is... The F-35 is an insanely impressive piece of engineering. And anybody that says anything otherwise doesn't know what they're talking about. The F-35 has more thrust vector control, but only when rotated down from inline. The thrust vector system moves the whole nozzle, rotating the wedge-shaped trunk segments. Going up full inline, it slots into the top of the engine bay. Hey, Max. What's going on, buddy? If I recall correctly, the F-22 only has 2D thrust vectoring. The F-35 has no thrust vectoring. And the S-235 has 3D thrust vectoring. There's reasons for each of those decisions. Yeah, Max, something that I'm very, very, very much learning very, very quickly is that anything in any form of engineering, so it could be software, it could be aerospace, it could be civil engineering, it could be mechanical engineering. If I sit there and I look at something and I'm not exactly sure why it's there, a good logical point to default to is that it's there for a very, very good reason. Something you probably didn't think of. Right? It's always like that, man. Now, in this particular case, Max, the same vessel interaction is there because I told Repo it couldn't be done, and he spited me by putting it in the next patch, which I'm not too upset about, but hey, whatever. I mean, who's the real loser here? Not me. And not him either. Okay, it's probably me. Cosmo, we're a bunch of nerds, dude. I'm surprised you play with no part adding mods. This looks crazy, not gonna lie. British, this is only scratching the surface of what I used to do in KSP 1. And I kind of want to do it again now that KSP 2 needs some time to cook in the oven. It's early access. It's gonna take a second to get there. When KSP 2 is able to do stuff like this, then we're gonna be in business, right? But yeah, dude, we can do anything. Let them cook. Winches? The only thing that we can't do is winches, Zymus. And what I do instead is just stack a bunch of hydraulics on top of each other and make an extendable, basically a winch. It's there because we all watched some of your streams and we decided it was a good decision. Having it on action groups was because I thought people might want to make latches with it, but it's good that everyone finds more uses for everything we did. Dude. You guys did good work. Anyway, Max, what are you up to, dude? How's things, man? I haven't talked to you in a little bit. Would KSP 2 get to a playable point faster if you play and find bugs? Probably. Like I said, guys, I got Nate on speed dial. Nobody uses speed dial. You guys probably don't know what speed dial means, but whatever. I got him on speed dial, dude. I can send him bugs. Honestly, the reason why I haven't been playing KSP 2, once again, it needs more time in the oven. But that, you're right, Oforce. We probably should play it more. But I'm kind of afraid of committing to a big project right now in Kerbal or anything because wedding and stuff. There's a lot of stuff that Brimo and I need to do. Like, dudes, basically for the past like 3 or 4 months, I am doing like 8 hours of work outside of like the 8 to 10 hours of streaming, and it's starting to take a toll. It's starting to take a toll on your boy. And then there's the truck, everything, etc. Like, been doing a lot of work lately, man. Don't worry, you know, as things settle down after the wedding and stuff, after Brimo and I's wedding, we're gonna basically just take a break from doing normie stuff for a little while and just, yeah, that's when I'll come back and we'll commit to doing cool stuff like this again. Max, okay. Yeah, things are okay. I haven't dropped by in ages, though you can always ping me on Discord. Life goes along. I worked on a project for a while that the publisher pulled funding on, so got nothing public. Now I'm looking for my next gig. Aw, man. That sucks. Max, if you're feeling limber, man, I had a couple of ideas for games, dude. If you want, man, I mean, like, I don't think it's any secret to know that I play the trash out of these games, right? And I figure out how they tick, right? I have a lot of experience playing them, and you know, I have a 3D animation degree on top of that, dude. So I had some interesting ideas for a video game, dude. I mean, if you wanted to come in and work on this project, like, it's nothing official yet, like, but I mean, I don't know, maybe we could do something about it. That'd be kind of cool to do on the side, don't you think? I'll admit, I based my external tank off yours, but simplified the design because of how my brain works, and I thought some of the new parts would simplify construction. Nah, it's okay. It was fun while it lasted. It happens a lot in the game industry. And yeah, I play the same games as you do. Been on a Factorio kick. And sure, we could talk about that. I'd like it. Dropping hints on his back burner projects. I'm always into something, Aqualex. That's just how my brain works. I'm always into something. Now, don't get me wrong, dude. These side projects that I work on, just like what happened with Max there, sometimes, most of the time, like 75% of the time, most of them fail. And they never reach the light of day. I wish I could talk to you about some of them. Some of them are NDA, which kind of blows, but you guys would dig the fact that I've actually like some of the projects, man, you guys would like, and you'd be pretty bummed out that they didn't go through. I'll DM you on Discord and we can follow up when you're not on stream. Sounds good, man. By the way, you might like this. I do indeed like that. This is, dude, whoever designed this has way too much time on their hands. Like, I know it's not like that. This is probably a team of guys that worked on making this mechanism, but still, the fact that the hydraulic systems for the thrust vector control can go through a slip system like this is just the flex joints and the kinematics involved in how the hydraulic systems move around on this system. Heck, the articulation system in general is unfreaking believable. Dude, I'm telling you, Aqualex, I saw an F-35B move around at Miramar, at the Miramar Air Show in 2019. Me and Das did, and we just sat there kind of dumbfounded. This thing is flying around, and it looks like a bee. Like, it looks like a fly. It's so pissed off, like the thing is just, and then it just goes, and then just lands. It was this, I'm like, oh, that's why that costs a lot of money. Oh, okay, I get you. They looked at old wooden stovepipe segments. The F-35B is the only version of the plane that does that. That's the Marine Corps variant, Cozy. Yeah, the Navy variant is the F-35C, so that's the one with the arrestor cable and beefed up landing gear. And the F-35A is the Air Force's variant, which is more of a conventional all-around fighter. Now, guys, think about this. This is what I mean. Everybody says the F-35 costs a ton of money. They made one chassis that can either be outfitted to VTOL, outfitted to land on an aircraft carrier, like a Rester hook, beefed up landing gear, or just be a conventional, like, fighter bomber, air superiority fighter, like the F-15 or something for the Air Force. On one chassis. One chassis, they can do all of that. There's no systems engineer in the world that wouldn't look at a project like this and be like, nope, that's going to cost a lot of money. Crazy, right? Does Russia have anything like this? Interestingly enough, the F-35B shares kind of a little bit of a similar design concept with the Yak-141. Yak-141 was a Soviet Navy plane. And it does something very similar with its nozzle. You see the nozzle right there? But the Yak-141, it's a weird looking plane, right? It looks a little strange, but if you look, the rear nozzle does something similar to what the F-35 does. But the F-35 has a drive shaft that comes out the front that attaches to a ducted turbofan. The Yak-141 has two jet engines that are just fixed in the front to get it to VTOL. There's literally just another set of engines up there. British have to use the VTOL system because their carriers are small. Yeah, the B and C, of course, have thrust vectoring, but only in one direction. And only for VTOL short takeoff. Yep, not in flight. The F-35 is meant to be an in-flight quarterback, networked to a lot of other assets, and not used as a dogfighter. Thrust vectoring is a niche functionality for modern air combat. Anyway. And the F-22 only has 2D thrust vectoring because it wants to have square nozzles for low observability considerations. Yep, that's right. You got it, man. Yeah, so you guys remember the other day when we were talking about the Kratos stuff? Like those deployable aerial reconnaissance vehicles? So, get this. The F-35 is designed to work with these. The XQ-58s, right? It's a UAV, right? It's a long-range, high-subsonic unmanned aerial vehicle. Anybody a StarCraft player here? Protoss carriers. Protoss carriers in real life. Carrier has arrived. That's what the MQ-58s are supposed to do with an F-35. The F-35 literally... Well, actually, I don't know this for sure, but if I'm understanding this right, the F-35 can literally slave into those MQ-58s, and one guy can have an entire fighter squadron at his or her disposal. Yeah, Max is right. The F-35 is not designed to fight, even though it can. It's more of a AWACS. Yeah, that controls a bunch of drones. And guess what? Guess what? You're going to need a very high bandwidth internet, you're going to need a very high bandwidth connectivity to get all this stuff to work all together, all at the same time. Yeah, you need really low latency to be able to control these drones almost in real time. Starlink. Yep, that's what I think Starshield is for, guys. Yeah, the military version of Starlink, that's what I think it's for. I'm pretty sure it's used to, yeah, Protoss carrier. Carrier has arrived. Now, here, I'll show you what I'm talking about for the people that don't know StarCraft. All right, here, check this out. So, see this? StarCraft is a real-time strategy game. These are, there's 11 carriers there. Watch this. Protoss carrier. Watch what I mean. So that's, this purple goo is the enemy base. Die Zerg scum. Alright, carriers are just moving around. Carriers are moving around. Alright, watch what happens when they find an enemy. Now, keep in mind, the F-35, yeah, that's an important thing. The F-35 doesn't launch all these drones. These drones are launched via other means. The F-35 is the brains. Watch this. Up, up, more goop. Up, found an enemy base. And it's gone. And it's gone. And everything is gone. Yep, it's all gone. Gone, it's all gone. It's gone. Yeah, it's all gone. Oh, there's another enemy base. Oh, see that machine bay? Oh, that's gone. That airfield. Oh, that looks nice. Oh, there goes the tower. That's gone. Oh, there goes the airfield. And that's gone as well. That's what I'm talking about. Pretty nuts, right? Now, don't get me wrong. That's just a guess. I'm not sure that it can do that, but also... yeah, that's what the F-35 is supposed to do. It's supposed to be the brains, and you just send all the drones. Okay, you shot one down. Pfft, all right, whatever. Have fun with that. Tie that in with the AI systems to control the drone swarms and the fact that those things we saw tested last week can be mounted on a missile rack. There's some truly sick individuals in the Department of Defense, man. I mean, like, once again, I usually don't like talking about weapon systems because, yeah, but some of them, man, some of them are just really freaking cool. Look up the ADM-160 MALD. Some drones can be launched from F-35s. The ADM-160 MALD. It's a decoy missile. Oh my goodness. Dude, we are so fricked up, man. But also at the same time, that's pretty damn impressive. Hey, grid fins. F-35 has arrived. Carrier has arrived. Dude. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's got grid fins on the back. Look at the little baby grid fins. Don't worry, you'll grow up and become Falcon 9 grid fins someday. Did you end up looking at the Frontier vid? No, Doom, I didn't, but now's a good time. Link me up. That's, like I said, that's a pretty insane piece of kit. All right, what's this? What's this game? Let me shut this for a second. Falling Frontier, exclusive Hanno ship combat reveal trailer.
Yes, it's confirmed. Fourth Fleet is engaged
hey, Joe.
in operations around Jupiter.
How you doing?
Who else is there? The Caligula and Richmond.
Okay, patch me in.
Caligula, this is Comsat Fleet, over. This is Caligula, roger, over. This is Comsat Fleet. Thea holds contact with probable Martian task force in vicinity of Saturn. Coordinates 4383, Mark 231, course unknown, speed unknown, strength unknown. Caligula and Richmond are ordered to divert from rendezvous with Erebus immediately and make best speed to intercept and destroy enemy task force. Formal orders to follow, over. This is Caligula, roger. Time to intercept 1 hour. Out. All hands, we've been tasked with a hunter-kill order. ETA 1 hour. Prepare for an emergency turn and burn.
I did that in Kerbal once, dude. I had 4 or 5 ships fly on in formation on a transfer burn to Mars. Yeah. Or Duna, excuse me. This looks like the Expanse, dude. Point defense cannons. So yeah, the Expanse. Yeah, I'm getting homeworld vibes from this. $2:30 is where you wanted me to start. Okay, we're pretty much there. I see it, Cooper. Yeah, Spain joined the Artemis Accords. Very good. Yeah, dreaming, me too. Close-in weapon system. Yeah, see whiz. Navy ships have something called a close-in weapon system. Oops. You hit your own. Okay. Interesting. Well, yeah, you shot your friend. No wonder his ship's failing. You just killed a bunch of people because your turrets just shot your boy. Yeah, that's fine. I'm sure that's good. I'm sure everybody on there is just having a really good time. Yeah. Oh yeah, ballistics. You flew through your buddy's debris. That's okay. Oh yeah, just human shield. It's fine. Oh yeah, so man. That Mars ship's cleaning up shop though. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on this one, I think. Uh-oh. Yeah, you might want to sea whiz, get the sea. Nope, you're gonna die. Space broadside, baby. Oh, they're at Iapetus. So Saturn. Yeah, cool. Huh. Alright, keep an eye on that one. Keep an eye on that one. So anyway, hybrid tech, man. Let's I want to mess with the SSTO pad a little bit more, dudes. But I mean, Polybridge 3 just came out, and I kind of want to go mess with that. Kind of want to see what that's about. Would you guys mind? Everyone knows the top space game is COD Infinite Warfare. I love Polybridge, man. That's such a fun game. Yeah, we will find a way to break it, don't worry. Kind of want to go finish the truck for a wedding. Actually, Ewok, take a look at her. She's looking good. We got the seat back in. I had to buy new bolts because the old ones were not gonna fit exactly how I want with the rug and the sound deadening and stuff, but it does look good though. Thanks for looking at it. No, Dune, thanks for showing me. We took it for a spin yesterday, like down around the driveway and around the block real quick. I live on back roads, so there's nobody around because living in the woods is awesome. So it drove okay. The diff started making noise. It's mostly because I probably drained all the fluid out of it from trying to screw around with that pinion seal so much. But it doesn't leak, so. Polybridge 3. Let's do it. Let's do it. To be honest, I think Children of a Dead Earth would fit really well as a combat game in your stream. The maneuvering controls are actually identical to KSP maneuver nodes because it does proper orbital dynamics. You're not the first one that's recommended that to me, Aqualex. Yeah. All right. Let's switch us over to Polybridge 3 and we'll see what's good.